Hey there gamers, welcome back to the channel once again. I am very excited today because I was finally able to get my hands on, and now I'm going to review the Valve Steam Deck. And I am really excited to talk about all the positives and a couple very minor negatives with the Steam Deck. Now, I bought this thing about a week ago and I've been playing with it for the past 7 days, and I didn't want to rush out and give you my initial thoughts right away. I wanted to be able to become accustomed to the hardware, to learn the ins and outs. I just didn't want to play with it for a day and then rush to do a video and go, hey guys, you gotta. I really wanted to have time to just mess around with this system, and I really wanted to become accustomed to the hardware of the Steam Deck. Now, I have always been a fan of the Nintendo Switch. For the longest time, the Nintendo Switch was my default gaming console. Yes, I have a PlayStation 5, I have an Xbox Series X, I have a really good PC, gaming PC, but for some reason the Nintendo Switch was one of the consoles that always appealed to me because I don't have a lot of time on my hands. You know, I work, I do YouTube, I'm either at my desk or I'm at my day job, and that really doesn't leave me a whole lot of time to game throughout the day, maybe an hour or so. But I like to take the Nintendo Switch wherever I go. So if I'm playing something like Bayonetta 3 and I stop midway through and I'm like, man, I really wish I could continue this, I can always undock the Nintendo Switch, bring it along with me, and I really enjoy the Switch. I really enjoy the hardware, but we all know that the Nintendo Switch is starting to feel a little rough after being out for over 6 years at this point. But never fear, because Valve released its Steam Deck. Now, when these things were first put on pre-order, it was a very long wait. Thankfully, good news is the pre-orders are over with, and you can actually just go onto the website and just pick one up and you'll get it in 1 to 2 weeks. I ordered mine about 2 weeks ago and I got it the following Monday, and I was just having a blast playing this thing for the past week. And there's 3 different models to choose. The first one being a $399 model, and then it goes all the way up to a 512 gigabyte model. That's the one I decided to pick up, but to be honest with you, other than the anti-glare glass and the bigger hard drive, any of the models are just fine because you can upgrade the models with a micro SD card. So that is something to kind of keep in mind if you're looking to pick one of these things up. So as I said, I've been messing with this thing for the past week, and I have a lot to say about it, a lot of really positive things and a couple minor things I think you guys need to be aware of, because unlike the Nintendo Switch, the Steam Deck is not just a pickup plug and play. You can use it like a plug and play, but it's not technically a plug and play because it is in fact a small portable PC, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So looking at the Steam Deck, you can tell that it's a pretty large, beefy boy of a handheld system. It's bigger than the Game Gear, and it's much bigger than the Nintendo Switch. And the reason why this is part of the positives and not part of the negatives is because it doesn't feel big. Once you grab it, once you hold it in your hand, it feels super light, and the grips on the back of the Steam Deck just makes it feel like a dream to hold. It doesn't feel like this over-bloated handheld console in your hand. Yes, when you compare it to other stuff, it is a bigger machine, but like I said, this is essentially a gaming PC in a handheld form. It's very, very lightweight. You wouldn't believe how lightweight it actually is, and the thing that they put all that technology within the Steam Deck is actually incredible when you look at the actual size of the Steam Deck, and I just think it's the most comfortable handheld system I have ever seen, especially when you look at something like the Nintendo Switch and you need a satisfied grip in order to make it more playable, make it more comfortable. The Steam Deck, you don't need that. The Steam Deck comes with the grips and it feels like a dream in your hand. The other thing I noticed about the Steam Deck was the screen. Now, I got the anti-glare screen, but you can get the regular screen. But I actually was surprised at how good the screen really looks. Now, it's not as good as the Nintendo OLED screen, but it does really, really well. And some of these games just look picture perfect. So I'm really happy and really satisfied with the screen that Valve decided to put in the Steam Deck. But when it comes to the Steam Deck, what you guys are really wanting to know is the games. How are the games? Well, the best thing is, if you are a PC gamer, you probably already have a huge Steam library. And that's what I like about the Steam Deck, is the amount of thousands upon thousands of games that are currently in your Steam library that you can just download and play right away. Sometimes there's some hiccups and it says it's not compatible, but most of the time, even the games that aren't compatible are 100% compatible. Steam has thousands of games at your disposal, and a lot of them are really dirt cheap. I've managed to get Resident Evil 3 Remake and Jedi Fallen Order for under $10, which is insane. Both of them are completely playable within the Steam Deck, and if I get tired and don't want to play it in handheld form, then I can either go to my computer, play with the top-notch resolutions and graphics, or I can dock my Steam Deck and play it on a TV. The amount of ways you can use the Steam Deck is just mind-blowing. And not only that, when we're talking about games, Steam always has games on sale. Every time you go on there, you will always find something on sale. I recently just bought Battlefront 2 for $5.99 yesterday, and I've been having a blast playing that game on the Steam Deck. Not only that, if you want to be a little more adventurous, you can even install Xbox Game Pass and play all the Xbox Game Pass games like Halo Infinite, but you would be surprised at how well it actually plays. Being able to play Halo Infinite on a handheld, that is something I never thought would have been possible. And speaking of the dock, I did pick up the official Valve Steam Deck dock, and I really enjoy playing it. You're not going to get the graphics of a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or even your PC on the dock, but what it does do, it gives you a place to charge your Steam Deck, and it allows you to play games on the TV that you probably wouldn't play elsewhere. If you want to play games at the highest level of graphics and resolution and frame rate, you're probably going to play it on your PC or on a home console. But if you're playing at your desk and you want to go into the bedroom and you're playing on your Steam Deck, and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to hook this up to the TV and just play a little bit before I go to bed, you can do that, and you get a great 1080p resolution with anywhere between 30 and 60 frames per second, and I think it works very well. I think it works very well for what it is. It's no different than if you're playing on the Nintendo Switch. The only difference is you get to make up the compromise of what you want to do. Are you looking for the graphics? Are you looking for the frame rate? You get to decide how you're going to play the game, and that is something that surprised me, and I really appreciated later on. Is not only playing the game on a TV the purpose of the dock, but another purpose of the dock is to use the Steam Deck as an all-out PC, because you can hook a keyboard and mouse to it. In fact, when I went to install the Xbox Game Pass and the Epic Game Store launcher on my Steam Deck, I hooked it up to my monitor with a keyboard and mouse, went in there, changed the wallpaper, did all kinds of different things as if I'm working at my desk on my computer, and I was actually surprised that, yeah, this thing is actually a computer, and it just blows my mind the fact that I can use this thing as a computer, as a gaming device. The amount of things that you can do with the Steam Deck is something that you don't see anywhere else on the market. And I keep bringing up the word shock and happy, and I keep bringing up all these different ways to describe how I felt playing the Valve Steam Deck. And slowly over this past week, I neglected every other console that I had. The Switch, I haven't even touched Bayonetta 3 since my Steam Deck came in the mail. Like, I only had like 4 chapters left of the game, and I completely just abandoned it to play my Steam Deck at all times. My PlayStation 5, my Xbox Series X hasn't been touched because everything I want to play is on my Steam Deck. The idea of not being stuck in front of a desk or a couch to play the games that I enjoy really opens up the possibilities of the way I can play games and the more games I can play. Games like Jedi Fallen Order that I mentioned a lot within this review is a game that I have not touched since the initial release. But it was the game that I always wanted to go back to. Now with it being in a portable form, I can play this game wherever. The Steam Deck has slowly become my default console, so much so that future games like Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, which I was going to get on the PS5 or Xbox Series X, I'm really debating on why not just get it on Steam. I can play it in this 4K, 60 frames per second, all its glory on my PC, or I can just install it on my Steam Deck, and if I want to level grind, I can just go in the other room, relax, and level grind. Like, it really changed the way I play games. And to be honest with you, I haven't been this excited to play a video game console in years, in decades, in fact. Like, I find myself waking up early in the morning just so I can grab my Steam Deck and learn something new with it. Whether it's to put Game Pass on there, or the Epic Game Launcher, or to see some of these little indie games that I want to test out. Like, I haven't been that excited since I was a kid, when I used to get up and play my Super Nintendo and see what I can do in Zelda Link to the Past. It brought the kid in me back out. the kid that enjoys gaming, to go on these adventures and learn new things. The Steam Deck has done that, and I haven't felt that in a very, very long time. But like I said before, there are some negatives. I've been talking about all the positive things, but now I got to get into some of the negatives when it comes to the Steam Deck, because there are some things that I feel you guys need to be aware of. And one of the things is the fact that, like I said, this is a gaming PC. This isn't just a plug and play like the Nintendo Switch, right? You can buy a Nintendo Switch in the store, come home, plug a game in it, and you're off and running, right? When it comes to the Steam Deck, there's a lot of different variables to consider. For instance, you want to play a game, but it's not running right? It's playing, but it feels like it's kind of like playing in slow motion. Well, that's probably because you have to adjust the frame rate. You have to go in, adjust. Do you want to play 30 frames, 40 frames, 60 frames per second? Do you want to play at like 720? Do you want to play at 1080p on your dock? Do you want to play with FSR? There's a lot of different variables to consider when playing games on the Steam Deck, and I think a lot of people might be overwhelmed. The first day of me playing this thing, I was extremely upset because I didn't understand it, and I've been playing PC gaming for a while. I've been gaming on PC for a while, and I understand the ins and outs of how to make a game run on a PC, but I just couldn't figure out certain things, and it was driving me nuts how I could just not get the frame rate to work the way I wanted. And that is something I think a lot of people who don't like to mess with their stuff it's going to turn those people off, because a lot of people just want to be able to grab their console and play, and the Steam Deck isn't that. Like, you can pick it up, and if you just want to play Steam games, then it would work, right? You just get the Steam certified games. You probably don't have to mess with nothing. You just go in and play it. But for me, trying to play Jedi Fallen Order, the first 3 days, I wasn't even able to play that game. Like, there was like an EA window and an Origin app and all this stuff, and I could not play this game for anything. I went on my computer, did process of elimination on errors to try to fix this thing. I went on Reddit to try to figure it out, and eventually I figured it out and I was able to play it. But the average gamer is not going to want to have to do all that to play one game. They're just going to move on to the next thing. I feel like a lot of people would pick this up on Christmas, and if they're not really a PC gamer, they're going to get annoyed with it really, really fast. So if you're someone who just wants to play something in handheld, then the Nintendo Switch is the console for you. But if you want to play AAA games like Elden Ring and God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn, or even Spider-Man, on a portable platform, the Steam Deck is for you. You're just gonna have to learn and teach yourself the different ways to make these games run, because for the most part, all the games run very well. It's just you have to tweak the settings in order to get the settings working the correct way. The other elephant in the room is, of course, the battery life. Now, you get about a 2-hour battery life depending on what games you're playing. Much like the Nintendo Switch when it first came out, there was a lot of battery life problems. Now, me personally, I don't consider the Steam Deck a full-on portable console where I can just take it wherever I'm traveling, unless, of course, I have a battery bank or a extremely well put charger to bring it with me, because you need to have a good charge in order to keep this thing charged at all time. To me, I just use it as a separate console if I just want to relax a little bit so I don't have to be sitting up. Now, the battery life isn't great, but it also depends on the settings and the game you are playing. Just like the Nintendo Switch, back in the day, if you're playing a 2D game, your battery life is going to last a lot longer unless you're playing something like a Zelda Breath of the Wild. Much like the Steam Deck, if you're playing a AAA game like God of War, you're not going to get the most out of your battery life. But there are certain things that you can do to extend your battery life, such as lowering the brightness, lowering the frame rate, lowering the GPU, the FSR, all the little nicks and crannies that comes within the Steam Deck. If you adjust everything right, you're going to get at least a 2.5 to 3 hour battery life of the Steam Deck, and I think that's perfectly great, because like I said, unless you're going on a trip, you're probably going to bring a battery pack anyway. This is sort of the thing that you take if you're going to like a doctor's meeting or you're just sitting in bed. The battery life isn't great, and I fully am aware and acknowledge that, but it's no different than the Nintendo Switch when it first came out, and there's different ways you can extend the battery life. Those are some of the negatives that I have of the Steam Deck. Overall, very positive machine. I absolutely love the Valve Steam Deck. Like, I can't even tell you how much I love. I think my girlfriend is jealous of my Steam Deck. That's how much I love the Steam Deck. I keep seeing her like kind of like eyeball it, like she's gonna like throw it in the trash or something. But the Steam Deck is something that just completely surprised me. I had a feeling I was gonna enjoy the console. I didn't think I was gonna fall in love with the console, with this small little handheld portable PC at my fingertip. You can use it as a gaming machine. You can use it as a desktop PC. You can use this thing so many different ways, and it just blew my mind of all the possibilities that this little machine can do. And it's a really, really pleasant surprise, and I really enjoyed the Steam Deck. But that's just my thoughts on it, guys. I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about the Valve Steam Deck? Are you thinking about picking up one? Have you already picked up one? Leave those comments in the comment box below. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and thank you for watching.